Since the dawn of storytelling, wolves have always depicted villains, bad guys, or bandits. This concept has always intrigued me. Why wolves? Is there something about their character design that strikes fear, or do animators just play into the stereotype of wolves being bad? Now, I'm no wolf advocate, but what I want to achieve is to comprehend the different characterization of wolf characters to understand what makes them appealing as villains. So then, we begin with Death from the iconic Puss in Boots movie. Death is probably the most sadistic character from the list of wolves you see in this video. He's a villain with a little more complexity. The character is supposed to be the embodiment of death to the main character, Puss. Not just that he strikes fear in the minds of his prey, but he also enjoys the concept of his prey being afraid of him. This plotline is taken to an extreme whereby it almost makes him look resolute. He is so infatuated on the concept of his prey being afraid of him that if his prey does not fear him, he lets them live. This makes Death look dignified in a sense. Though sadistic and scary, he lives by his own certain kind of conduct. To be honest, this part of Death makes him a bit more scary. A villain who is so resolute that even though he is capable of achieving his goal, as long as it's not by his own codes of conduct, he just does not go through with it. Now, in terms of how Death is being characterized, from what I've said, he's a proud wolf who takes pleasure in his job. Though this makes him appear sadistic to the audience, he is one who lives by his own set of rules, which can also make him look dignified. So then, why is he a wolf? I do think the character design of a wolf does depict the almighty phenomenon that is death. Yes, this might be playing into the age-old stereotype, but there are not much animals that has been striking fear into the eyes of kids in storytelling than the wolf. So I think using a wolf here, it does work perfectly. By the way, I did go online to find out whether there was a deeper meaning by the creators, but I could not find one. The next on my list is Mr. Wolf from The Bad Guys. A little fact about the movie plays into the concept of bad stereotyped animals. It uses all of man's most stereotyped animals and makes them to living characters to which the environment around them is well aware of what they are and fear them based on the stereotype that these animals are supposed to be bad. Now, Mr. Wolf is not an ideal villain. In fact, he's not a villain at all. He's an anti-hero. This is the only character on this list that shows any bit of character development. Yes, him not being a villain kind of plays into it. Now, what makes him an anti-hero? Mr. Wolf is a character who does understand the idea of good and evil, but one who chooses to be bad based on the cards he was dealt with. He is what he is because of how the environment perceives him. The concept of being egotistical and deceptive does play into the wolf stereotype, so he is. At first, he struggles to come to terms with the concept of good and almost fights those urges and feelings. But then, as the story progressed, we see him take a side and becomes good. The whole anti-hero thing comes in because he's not your ideal, I do it by the book kind of good guy. The way he saves the day might not be perceived fully as good. Okay, being that the story is well aware of what it's trying to do, there is no other character design for Mr. Wolf. I'm not sure any other character design can fit a wolf, if not a wolf. The next on the list is Jimmy Crystal from the movie Sing 2. To level with you, the best term I can use to describe this character is narcissistic. Jimmy is a villain done as simple as he can be. There is no complexity to Jimmy. He antagonizes the main character and does that to the best of his extent. Jimmy is a self-obsessed, narcissistic egomaniac that does everything in his power to make himself look good, even if that means giving someone full reins on his show based on just a baseless idea that came out of a pig's mouth. As long as it will in turn come back to give him all that wonderful street cred, Jimmy is all in. I mean, the movie does not even hide this fact. It keeps reminding us how much Jimmy hates to look bad, and ultimately how far he'll go to eliminate anyone that makes him lose face. He might be a simple villain, but he's done very well. The story makes it very clear what he hates, laying the groundwork for what was to come later on in the movie, therefore justifying how he acts. I like that. Honestly, I hate seeing characters that are villains for straight up no justifiable reason. So I appreciate it when a story gives us a reason why a character is a villain. Now, Jimmy Crystal's character design being an Arctic wolf can be debated. I feel any menacing visual animal character design can put out a terrifying performance as Jimmy Crystal. By the way, I don't have a problem with Jimmy Crystal's character design. Like I said before, I just want to understand the different characterizations of wolf characters and what makes them appealing as villains. The last on the list is Wolf W. Wolf from Hoodwinked, and I'm not even joking, that's his actual full name. Now, it would be of disservice if I did not add a movie related to the Little Red Riding Hood story. After all, that story is the most popular piece of fiction to which the whole wolf is a bad guy stereotype emerged. Now, Hoodwinked is not the Little Red Riding Hood story, but kind of like a spoof of it. Similar to the bad guys, Hoodwinked plays into the whole wolf stereotype, but this time for comic effect. There are even moments where the character Wolf makes mention of this stereotype. What I love about how the creators of Hoodwinked handled this character is in the use of deception while writing the story. They make you think that Wolf is the wonderful grandma-eating bad guy we all love, leaving us the audience to not expect an odd change with this character. But being that the whole plot of the story is based on perspectives, later on we get to understand that Wolf is not a villain, but he's just another side character. Wolf is a deceptive and calculative character. Yes, that buys into his whole characterization as a journalist. He's unlike any other character on this list. He's neither a villain or an anti-hero. He's a proper side character. Instead of him being a villain, he plays a catalyzing side character who wants to find out who the goody bandit is. Though him being a wolf kinda portrays him as the bad guy in most scenes. Wolf W. Wolf is the only character on this list that has no iota of vice written into his story. So then, why did I add him to the list? It's simple. His story is an indication that wolves can appear to be bad without actually doing anything bad in the story. And the creators make it very vivid. Like how every character in Hoodwinked feels like the wolf is the goody bandit without them actually seeing him commit the crime. Okay, I don't want to spoil much about the movie because I feel a lot of people have not watched it, being that it came out in 2005. Please give it a watch if you haven't watched it. Though the animation is a bit off-putting, but the story makes up for it. Just like Mr. Wolf from The Bad Guys, no other visual character design can represent a wolf than a wolf. So this one works perfectly. After taking into consideration all these different characterization of wolf characters in movies, I wanted to understand what makes them appealing as villains in animations. My conclusion is their character design is as terrifying as however the studio or the creators wants it to be. The reason why they are appealing as villains is based on the folktale that has made everyone to believe that they are bad guys and make wonderful villains. Okay then, thanks for watching you guys. This video is not me saying wolves can't be used as good characters, but I just thought the topic will make a good video. That's why I made it. So yeah, I saw that a lot of people watched the Perito video, so all love to those who have watched it. If you haven't watched it, please go give it a watch. I'm enjoying making these videos. Hope you guys are enjoying it too. If you have any objections or additions to my thoughts in this video, please feel free to comment and I'll reply in no time. Subscribe and like if you have not already done so. God loves you and I love you too. Bye bye.